Hey everybody and welcome to another expanded Investigator guide where we do a deep dive into all the good cards for the Investigator. Travis made these lists and he chose cards that he thought shined well in the Investigator. So it's not every card in the game. We're not going to talk about Ursula Downs in this one not great yellow event. We're going to talk about cards that work in her and why they work in her, and also just Ursula in general. Some of the cards you might notice are tagged with a little elder sign symbol. Those mean that those are staples, and you can find us talking in greater detail about those in the description down below. There'll be a video to the Seeker stables and other cards that are staples that may appear here. Bryn, why don't you talk to us about the Ursula and these cards here, because I would consider you our resident Ursula expert.
All right, so for Ursula Downs, we got 3 brain, 4 book, 1 punch, and 4 foot. And as a reaction effect, after we move to a new, it doesn't have to be a new location, just any location. We get to take an investigate action once per round. Our star is literally effect +1. It technically has further text, but it'll rarely come up. You do get to move to the test ends, but you'll only draw it when you don't want to move.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
It's the rule. It's the rules. So our strengths, we got a real solid stat line. No wasted points. Our punch we don't intend to use for anything, and the only way it could be better is if it were a 0, because if we're using it, we're losing the game. So our investigator ability is also incredibly powerful, where we kind of just get to investigate for free 1 time every turn.
Yeah.
Weaknesses, we only get to play with yellow cards and relics 0 to 4. And neutral cards, of course. Just not amazing. There are some cool relics, but it doesn't really make up for not getting a second color. And our book score is only 4 at base, which is not quite high enough to be workable against most of the shroud values in the game. Our signature asset and weakness here, we got Jake Williams, who is a 3-costed 3/2, which is not a bad rate for Soak ally, who says the first move or investigate we perform each turn does not provoke an attack of opportunity. As a reaction effect, after we reveal a location or put a new location into play, exhaust Jake Williams to draw 1 card. He's not bad, but that is probably the best thing you can say about him. He commits for a book and a wild, which doesn't suck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's pretty meh across the board. Our weakness, the Call of the Unknown, is a task that, as a revelation, we put into play in our threat area, and forced at the beginning of our turn, we have to choose a location other than the one we're on right now. When your turn ends, if you didn't successfully investigate the chosen location, you get to take 2 horror and shuffle Call of the Unknown to your deck. So notably, there's really a way you can get rid of this. It's just always going to be there, whether it's lurking in what remains of your deck, or currently in play, forcing you to play the game a little weird. The weakness is stronger than Jake, but ultimately entirely manageable.
The thing that Jake Williams actually does for you is he lets you move into a location that has an enemy and use Ursula's ability without getting bonked, and then you can evade it after.
Something that as well with Call of the Unknown is that, as Bryn was saying about being able to play around it. For example, if you draw Call of the Unknown and your adjacent location has a clue on it, you can choose that location, move to that location, investigate for free, and then you can give a big middle finger to Call of the Unknown and kind of just take advantage of your weakness. And it might slow you down a bit, but it's perfectly manageable, like you said. There's going to be times where Call of the Unknown is really annoying, but it's something that you can work around because it never goes away. Otherwise, so you kind of have to learn to plan with it. With Ursula Downs.
Also worth noting, if there is no location in play that is not the one you're currently on, this doesn't do anything because there is nothing you can choose for it.
Good to know.
So you don't just sit there and you're like, well, I take 2 horror and put this back in my deck, and I got 3 cards left, and I guess I'll just keep doing this till I die.
Yeah.
Yep.
Travis, why don't you take the first of the core set cards?
Sure. First up, we got Magnifying Glass. So 1 cost asset that's fast. You get +1. Book while investigating. It takes up 1 of your hand slots. This is a nice little card to help mitigate Ursula's 4 book, bumping her up to 5, which is a pretty serviceable number. We've got Dr. Milan. He is one of the premier yellow allies. And if you are interested in learning more, you can go to the Yellow Staples video. Next up, we got Working a Hunch. This is a 2-cost event that commits for 2 books. Great symbols to have for Ursula. It's fast. You play only during your turn. You discover 1 clue at your location. So this one can, for 2 resources, grab you a clue, or it can make one of your investigation tests better, which is very handy for Ursula, as she does one of those like pretty well every turn, at least for free. And lastly, here we got Deduction. Skill that commits for 1 book. If you're successful while investigating, you get an additional clue. Great card, and once again, you can find further discussion of that over in the Staples video.
Yeah. I got here's Flashlight. This is another staple in the Neutral Staples video. It just helps you investigate more, reducing the shroud of the location. So if you have like a smaller collection, Flashlight can really do some work there. We got Guts and Manual Dexterity and Unexpected Courage. 3 skills, all in the staples. That we go in bigger details there. But they're going to boost your stats up to 5 brain, 6 foot, and then 2 of whatever you want for Unexpected Courage, and helps you pass tests that you otherwise would fail or really want to ensure that you pass. Perception is another one, just like those last ones. Also in the staple video, helps your book, your relevant stat, because you're going to be investigating. Emergency Cash gives you 3 resources, and staple video as well, as you can see. Now let's get into some non-staples. We got Old Book of Lore. This is a 3-cost item tome that allows you to choose an investigator, and they search the top 3 cards of their deck and for a card, and then draws it. This is something that if you want to find specific things in your deck and get to those juicy things earlier and quicker, it does spend an action to do, but it's basically it's like card draw where you have some choice, so there is some nice power there. Upgraded Magnifying Glass is 1 experience. It's fast when you play it now, costs 0, and if there are no clues on your location, you can return it to your hand. This matters, for example, if you want to place something else in your hand slot that you're not using Magnifying Glass anymore because your book number is boosted by other things, or if you care about hand size. It's a nice little trick that you can do because you can just go whoop, 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 whoop with Magnifying Glass. No problem. Bryn. I'll take this last one because we're going to be going on to Dunwich next. Oh, that was nice and quick. Grotesque Statue. This is a 2-cost 4 experience item relic. This is one of the relics. This gets an off-color relic. So this one takes up a hand slot, uses 4 charges. If it has no charges on it, you discard it, and when you reveal a chaos token, spend 1 charge, reveal 2 tokens instead of 1, choose 1 to resolve and ignore the other. This is good because it basically is just like giving you power and control over your tests. Because as always, what's better than failing in Arkham Horror the card game? Not failing. Grotesque Statue is just a nice little powerful card that you can use to defend yourself while you're taking tests. And because she can run 0 to 4 relics, that's why she can run Grotesque Statue. Bryn, pass these ones to you.
We got the shortcut, just a fast move. It's especially good here because we get to take a investigate action on the shortcut. We got Preposterous Sketches, which is a 2-costed event. We can play it only if there's a clue on our location. We draw 3 cards. Just if we're playing a lot of the cheaper cards like Shortcut or Deduction, we're going to find ourselves out of cards a lot, and with a reasonable pile of resources that we can't do anything with. So we can use this to turn those resources into more cards. Got Acquiring Mind, which is just 3 wild, but we can only commit it if there's a clue at our location. And really, if there's not a clue at the location, what exactly are you doing? Like, there will be most of the time. Got Seeking Answers, which is a 1-costed event. Investigate if you succeed. Instead of discovering a clue at your location, discover a clue at a connecting location. So on the face of it, this one is not a particularly good card, but in conjunction with our reaction ability to investigate when we move into a location, we can use this while moving through locations that don't actually have any clues on them in order to still take free investigate actions that will further the team's plan.
Yeah, and so for people who may not know, this is an investigate action because it specifically has that bold text investigate on it. So you are able to use Ursula's reaction ability to do cards that say investigate on them. You still need to pay the cost, of course, but you can use seeking answers as part of her reaction. Travis. Oh, this one's easy.
Yes, Pathfinder. Move more, investigate more, easy. On the Staples video. Deduction. This is deduction, but sometimes you get 2 clues instead of 1 extra. Also on the Staples video. This is charisma. On the Staples video, you get an extra ally. Easy. Relic Hunter. This is what you do.
Yeah. No, actually,
Yeah,
this one deserves a bit of a pause here that we wouldn't talk about otherwise. Bryn, why is a Relic Hunter, apart from the fact that it says Relic Hunter in the name, why is it good in Ursula?
Well, the vast majority of the relics that we get to play, for them being level 0 to 4, take up your accessory slot. Mm-hmm. And this just allows you to play with more of them.
Nice. All right, Travis, that one was so easy. I'm throwing this next one to you, too.
Damn it. This is Higher Education. It's permanent 3 experience. Well, you have 5 more cards in your hand. Higher Education gains Lightning Bolt, spend a resource, get +2 brain to a skill test. Or Lightning Bolt, spend a resource, get +2 book to your skill test. Maintaining 5 cards in your hand is not particularly difficult. That being said, you don't really want to be playing too many assets when if you're planning to upgrade into this, because you need those resources to pay for your stat boost, but very, very strong card.
Before you go on to the next one, so if you're a new player, you might be wondering about the taboo list. We're talking about this without the taboo list, so Higher Education is printed. Don't worry about the taboo list. Play without it for now. Feel the power of Higher Education, because I can't believe this only costed 3 experience when it came out, man. Sorry, Travis.
Next up, we got this Jewel of Aureolus, another off-color relic. Wow. 3 cost, 3 experience, commits for a while, takes up the accessory slot, and as a reaction, after a symbol token is revealed during a skill test at your location, you can exhaust the jewel to either draw a card or gain 2 resources. This is a great economy engine, especially if you've purchased a Relic Hunter to shore up the accessory slot and all the things you're going to want to stuff in there. Just a great way to get cards and resources without really having to try. One notable is it's a skill test at your location, so if one of your teammates draws them hits, as long as you're at the same location, you can get your card or resources. Next up, got Deciphered Reality. This is a 4 resource event that costs 5 experience to put in your deck. Commits for 2 books and a brain. This is an investigate action, so you're allowed to play it off of Ursula's reaction. And the difficulty of the skill test is equal to the highest shroud value among revealed locations in play. If you succeed, you get to discover 1 clue from each revealed location in play. This one is particularly strong in Ursula because between Call of the Unknown and just her ability, you're going to be running around. There's lots of incentive to be moving around the maps lots and flipping up locations, so it shouldn't be too hard to be able to get multiple clues with this. Mm-hmm. Then we got the Gold Pocket Watch. This is another one of them off-color relics. This one is exceptional, so it actually costs 8 experience to put into your deck, and you can only have 1 copy of it. It costs 2 resources to play, and takes up your accessory slot, though it probably won't be monopolizing it for long. It commits for a brain and a wild if you are stupid or desperate. These have been errata. These lightning bolts have been errata to be reactions, but it works basically the way that you would think. When a phase begins, you can remove the pocket watch from the game to skip that phase, or after a phase ends, you can remove the pocket watch from the game to repeat that phase. So 2 most common, this is a very, very powerful effect. The 2 most common uses for it are to either skip the Mythos phase, buying you like one turn without Doom or encounter cards. It is great to do if there's no pressing matters, no enemies in play. It can also be used in that situation to kind of help you clean up, but if you're wanting to clean up, you're probably going to want to use it to just repeat the player phase so that the enemies don't get another turn to attack.
Heck yeah. Fun card. Always fun to see that one.
Very good.
Yeah. All right, we're on to the Path to Carcosa. First up here, we've got Fieldwork. This one's a star every time I see Bryn play this, but especially so in Ursula Downs. So it's a 2-cost asset, it's a talent, and as a reaction, after you move to a location, if that location has at least one clue, exhaust Fieldwork, you get +2 skill value for the next skill test you perform this phase, like the Investigate action you're going to be taking. When we say that, like, you might be wondering if you're just like, you can have in the strength that she has a great stat line, but in the weaknesses you say only 4 book. 4 is still like part of a great stat line, but you feel it as a seeker when you only have 4 book, because a lot of the shroud locations, most commonly, you're going to see are 3, right? There are also ones that are 4, but 3 is pretty common for a starting location, which means that you like to be up 2 for most tests on standard. And Fieldwork just does that for you. So now you don't need to worry about that one little bit of the weakness where, like, even if you move into a location with a shroud of 4, Fieldwork now gives you up that 2 bonus. And that's why Fieldwork is good in general, but also good in Ursula. And it's also good in Ursula because you're going to be moving around a lot. It's the thing that you do. You move and then investigate, move and then investigate.
Yeah, it also helps you if you move into a location with an enemy.
Yeah, you can evade
It
it.
also has clues. You can fire this up, evade at 6.
Yeah.
Just do your job.
Yeah, her 4-foot is not to be ignored. It makes her a very good, like, seeker that can go out on her own. No stone unturned, 2 cost, insight, choose an investigate location. They get to look at the top 6 cards of their library for a deck, and then they draw it, and then shuffle their deck. So it's just, if it helps people find cards, it helps you find what you're missing. It can help someone else at the table find what they need. Just some nice way to get some consistency and find the things that you want to work with now. Eureka, it's an innate skill, commits for a brain, a book, and a foot. If it's successful, the investigator performing this test searches the top 3 cards of their deck for a card, draws it, then shuffles the deck. If you notice, that has brain, book, and foot, which are the 3 stats you're probably going to be using all the time in Ursula, so like it's a perfect fit for her. And also just finding the cards you need and like looking at 3 and drawing 1. Very strong. Logical reasoning, 2 cost, insight event. Play only if you have a clue. Choose an investigator at your location. That investigator heals 2 horror or discards a terror card from their threat area. Horror healing can be good. Removing a very bad terror card also can be really nice. And the cost of having a clue is not hard for your clue getter, which is your job as Ursula Downs. All right, Bryn.
We got In the Know, which is a 1-cost or one experienced 3-costed asset. It's a talent, takes up no slots, uses 3 secrets. As an action, you can spend a secret to investigate. You investigate any revealed location in play as if you were at that location. So this is just another way to make sure that you're using the reaction effect to gain a clue every turn. Mm-hmm. It also helps you to mitigate the downside of Call of the Unknown, as you can just pick one of the locations that can be investigated for value, and then investigate that location. Mm-hmm. We got Forewarned, which is a 0-costed event. It's level 1. It's fast. We play it when we draw a non-weakness treachery card. We place one of our clues on our location. Cancel the revelation effect. There are a lot of cards you can draw that will cost you more than one investigate action, and this just stops them. We got the upgraded shortcut, good for the same reasons as the other shortcut. Nothing else really to say about this one. Mm-hmm. We got level 5, No Stone Unturned. This one is the same as the first, except infinitely better in every possible way. Except for the fact that it still costs 2. It's fast, you play it during any lightning bolt player window. You choose an investigator at your location. They just search their deck for a card and draw it.
Juicy.
That's it. Just anything.
Yeah.
This card is real solid if you're playing any of those, any of the exceptional relics in the game, mm-hmm. because they're pretty much balanced around the fact that they're hard to find, and this is like getting to put a second copy in your deck. But not only is it a second copy of one of them, it's a second copy of the one that's good right now.
Sweet. All right, Travis, why don't you finish up Path to Carcosa with talking about this card?
Oh, this is Keyless. It's a 5 experience relic. Wow, so you can play it for 2. No, still only
No,
one.
only one. Still only one.
Yeah. It takes up your accessory slot, and it's just a good card. You should consider playing with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Travis, why don't you keep this going into the Forgotten Age?
Okay, these.
You know what? No, let's give Dr.
these
Ellie
look
to Bryn.
different.
Let's give Dr. Ellie to Bryn.
All right, we got Dr. Ellie Horowitz. She is a 3-costed ally. As a reaction effect, after Dr. Ellie Horowitz enters play, you search the top 9 cards of your deck for a relic asset and attach it to her. Shuffle your deck. Each relic asset attached to Dr. Ellie Horowitz does not take up any slots. It is still considered to be in play and under your control. So there's all kinds of neat things that can be done with this. Like wearing 2 Tooth of Etzlies, which is our next card here. Or even just using this like a level 0 relic hunter. Now, the Tooth of Etzli is a 3-costed item asset that just gives us +1 brain and +1 foot while we're resolving abilities on treachery cards. And after we succeed at one of those skill tests, which we probably will because we're at 4 and 5 respectively now, we get to exhaust it to draw a card. We got Unearth the Ancients. This card is like kind of not good, but in Ursula, we can make extra use out of it because we get to move and take the investigation action for free, so it no longer costs us that action. When we choose a yellow asset in our hand, the difficulty of the test is equal to the chosen asset's printed cost. If you succeed, instead of discovering clues, put the chosen asset into play. If that asset has the relic trait, draw 1 card. Now, unfortunately, the majority of the relics we are likely going to want to play are not yellow assets. So that's a little unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
But we can use it to put something like, Dr. Ellie or, Tooth of Etzli. Actually, just about anything. We need to be able to pass the test.
Mm-hmm.
If it costs more than 4, it's going to be real tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, what this one's really good at is like turning your investigate action into a play action sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. That's pretty much the thing it's good for, because you do often end up with more investigate actions than you can realistically use.
Yeah.
We got the Chthonian Stone, which is a 3-costed item relic asset. And we just seal one of the tokens that is not the red token, one of the symbol tokens, not the red one. And forced after it is revealed after you reveal it, the red token during a skill test, you return it to your hand. This is just a solid way to help your teammates out with passing tests.
Mm-hmm.
There are often one of these tokens that is much worse than the others, and you can just stop that from happening.
Yeah, just being able to say no to it for a while is nice.
Yep.
All right, Travis, go back to you for these ones.
Okay, hey, it's Backpack. This takes a buy slot, which has virtually no competition for Ursula, and relics are items.
They are all items.
You can keep them in your backpack. For more information, please see the neutral video. We got Truth and Fiction. This is a 2-costing insight that commits for 2 books. It's a pretty common theme with a lot of the cards that Ursula wants. You can only play if there's a clue on your location. Then you get to place 2 secrets on an asset you control. This is nice because a lot of the high-value relics, especially the yellow ones, use secrets, and getting a couple extra uses out of those is nice. I got True Understanding here. Skill that commits for 1 wild. To commit only to a skill test from an ability printed on a scenario card. If the skill test is successful, you discover 1 clue at your location. Ursula has like really solid defensive stats with her 3 in brain and her 4 in foot, so it's not too hard to pass those tests, and turning them into a free clue is pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
We got the Otherworldly Compass here. This is a relic. Wow. It's 2 costs, 2 experience stick in your deck, commits for 2 books in case your hand slots are already full, of which this one takes up 1. And as an action, you can exhaust the otherworldly compass to investigate. Your location gets minus extra for this investigation, where X is the number of revealed locations connected to your location. Quite often this functions basically as a flashlight that never runs out of uses, which is fine for Ursula, to be honest. It just helps mitigate her 4 book a little bit.
Yeah. And then also, once again, it is an investigate action, so you can use it with her reaction ability.
Yep.
All right, we got Ornate Bow next. This is a 4 cost, 3 experience, item, relic, weapon, ranged, asset. Takes up both hand slots. Spend an ammo. This attack uses, it also only has 1 ammo, and this one actually has a limit. And as an action, you can spend an ammo to fight. This attack uses your foot instead of your fist. You get +2 foot and deal +2 damage for this attack. As an action, you knock another arrow, place 1 ammo on Ornate Bow. So this is a pretty good offensive tool for Ursula. Because, it lets her attack at 6, which is a pretty nice number. She's realistically not your your enemy slayer. I usually advise against it. But this can allow her to really defend herself, because then in the downtime, she's probably not going to miss her shot, and then she can knock another arrow when she just has a free action, maybe after moving and grabbing a clue on a location. We got Crystalline Elder Sign. This is a 3 cost, 3 experience item relic asset. Takes up the accessory slot. You seal the +1 or the Elder Sign. You're going to probably want to grab the +1 for this one so you don't take everyone else's Elder Sign away. But then you just get +1 to all your stats. So now it's like you've essentially drawn the +1 to each of your tests. It's good having 4 brain, 5 book, 5 foot. Not a bad deal. This is another one that also, Dr. Ellie is happy to hold, because it means she's probably staying around for the time being. Next up, we got the Skeleton Key. This is a 3 cost, 2 experience, exceptional item relic. Cursed, it's fast, and you can attach to your location as an action. And if it's already attached, you instead detach it and return it to your play area. And you set the attached location shroud value to 1, which means that's really easy to investigate even for other people. The one thing about this, though, is that it's fixed at 1. It cannot be modified further from that. It is always set to 1. Last up on this page here is we got the Penodic Manuscripts. It is a 5 cost, 5 experience item relic tome asset that takes up a hand slot. It uses 3 secrets as a reaction when an investigator location would perform a skill test during a revelation effect. Those are treachery cards. Spend a secret. Do not reveal chaos tokens for that test. As an action, you can also spend a secret. Choose an investigator location. Do not reveal chaos tokens for the next skill test. That investigator performs this round. So this is great because it means that if your number's bigger, you can just pass a test. It also uses secrets, so that card whose name I don't know, Truth from Fiction, I think it allows you to put more secrets on this. And just the amount of times the more times you can take a test without drawing a token, that's just juicy. That's just strong. And you can use it on other people too. All right. Bryn, we're on the Circle Undone. Why don't you take this one away?
Got the Fingerprint Kit. So the Fingerprint Kit is a 4-costed item tool. It has uses 3 supplies. As an action, you can exhaust the Fingerprint Kit and spend 1 supply. Investigate. You get +1 book for this investigation. If you succeed, discover 1 additional clue at your location. So you can just use this to help you power through each location that you move into. Like you move in, you take 2 clues. If you're playing 2-handed, that's probably all there is. You do something else with your turn.
Mm-hmm.
This one's mostly good because you can take the investigate actions for free.
Yeah.
We got Curiosity, which is, you have 4 or more cards in hand, it gains a brain and a book icon, and while you have 7 or more cards in hand, it gains 2 brain icons and 2 book icons.
Wow.
This is just an alternative option to the Perception and Guts suite, where you can play this and it behaves kind of as both, because you can pick which one you need it to be right now.
Mm-hmm.
We got Crack the Case. It's emergency cash, but good. See below. We got Hawkeye Folding Camera. As a reaction after the last clue is discovered from your location, place 1 resource from the token pool on this card as evidence, even once per game at each location. Well, it has one or more evidence, you get +1 brain. 2 or more, you get +1 book. 3 or more, you get +1 sanity. So the sanity is not super important, but +1 book and +1 brain are both quite solid here because we've got 3 already, and the +1 puts us up to 4. And then after that, we get to play like we're a 5-book investigator.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just a good place to be.
Yeah, one thing with Hawkeye Folding Camera is that it gets a little bit more awkward at higher player counts because there's usually other people picking up clues, and you might have to be like, wait, stop. But in like two-handed, when you're the clue getter, it's really nice. But the other thing to be aware with Ursula is because she only has 4 book and it's the second thing you get to, it will eventually get you to 5, but it's just going to get you slower than something like Magnifying Glass or Dr. Milan will get there. They, of course, don't... Well, Magnifying Glass doesn't come with a brain boost or even just a static book boost. So you just have to work a little bit harder to get there. Travis, you can take these 2.
Excellent. Death 13, this is the tarot card that gives you more book. It's 1 experience, 3 resources to play, or it's free if it's in your opening hand. 5 book is more than 4.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That's good.
I just double checked his math, and that worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty good at math. Esoteric Atlas. This is a tome. Takes up 1 hand, 3 money to play, 1 experience stick in your deck, and it commits for a foot. Has 4 secrets as uses, 4 uses as secrets. As an action, you can spend a secret and exhaust the tome to choose a revealed location that is exactly 2 locations away from you, and move to that location. It's a nice way to get a little bit extra turn in your turn, you know?
Yeah. And it does also trigger the reaction ability too, so you can just go zoop, grab a clue.
Yep.
Dream Eaters. Okay. God, we're just flying compared to the Mark video. This is crazy.
Cruising, Justin.
First up here is we got Astounding Revelation. This is a research event with Myriad. This is the first time we're seeing Myriad in this video, so that means you can include up to 3 copies of the card when you add it to your deck. Astounding Revelation is when it cannot be played, so that's why it has a for its cost, but again, commit for a book. When you search your deck and Astounding Revelation is among the search cards, discard it. Either gain 2 resources or place 1 secret on an asset you control, max 1 research ability per search. So if you have ways to search your deck, like Wood and Green or Old Book of Lore or even like your Eureka, you can get advantage resources from this, or secrets, which is really nice with some of the stuff we have spoiled so far and talked about. I didn't put the jellyfish on there. Frick, I remember it on Segment of Onyx, but not the jellyfish. Anyway, Crystallizer of Dreams is a 1-cost asset that commits for a brain. It's an item and a relic, and has additional cost to put this card into play. You must search your bonded cards for 1 copy of Guardian of the Crystallizer and shuffle it into your deck. After you play an event, attach it face down to Crystallizer of Dreams instead of discarding it to a maximum of 5 attached events. Attached events may be committed to skill tests as if they were in your hand. The Guardian is a 3/3/3, right, with Hunter?
Yeah, it's a 3/3/3 with Hunter, Revelation, spawn it at your location, exhausted.
Yeah, so basically, eventually the jellyfish are going to come for their egg and they're going to chase you down, but you can evade them. You have 4. But the real nice thing this card does is it turns all of your events into skills in the future. And as you saw from the majority of the events that we have seen so far, they commit for books. Usually 2, as Travis pointed out. That's just kind of like something that secret cards do. So now all your events turn into +2 book, which really help out your only 4-book stat there. Crystallizer Dreams sees a lot of success in Ursula. I'm actually recording a run right now where I have Crystallizer Ursula, and it's juicy. Anything you want to add as the expert for Crystallizer, Bryn?
No, I think you pretty much covered it.
Sweet. Next up here is we got Segment of Onyx. This is a 1-cost, 1 experience, Myriad Fast. It's a relic. It has a lightning bolt. If you have 3 copies of Segment of Onyx in play, set them aside, out of play, search your bonded cards for Pendant of the Queen and put it into play. The Pendant of the Queen is item relic, takes up the accessory slot, uses 3 charges. If this card has no charges, set aside, out of play, and shuffle 3 set-aside copies of Segment of Onyx into your deck, so it breaks apart and they must be reunited. But the Pendant of the Queen has the Lightning Bolt. Exhaust it and spend 1 charge. Choose a revealed location and select 1. Move to that location. Discover 1 clue at that location, or automatically evade an enemy at that location. This card is nuts. It does take a bit of work to require to get there. You need to get all 3 copies of the relic. But with things like Ellie, Win and Green, all of the search and draw that exists in Seeker, it is a lot easier than it sounds just by being like, I have to get 3 out of 30 cards together. Yeah, it's very doable. And the Pendant of the Queen is just a very strong card. It has power. You can help anyone from anywhere, and it's wild. Bryn, I take these next. Oh, I suppose I'll take the Dream Diary, considering, just because. So, Dream Diary. The untranslated version, it's a 2 cost. As an action, you search your bonded cards for Essence of the Dream and add it to your hand. Essence of the Dream is just a skill that commits for 2 wild icons. Nice and simple. Just 2 wild icons. It has the reaction ability. After you succeed by 3 or more during a skill test to which Essence of the Dream is committed, record in your campaign log that you've interpreted the dreams. You can then get any of the level 3 versions. They're all level 3, Explorer, Madman, and Child. They all have the text that after your turn begins, search your bonded cards for Essence of the Dream and add it to your hand. So now you don't have to spend an action to get the Unexpected Courage into your hand. It's just there automatically, which is nice. And they all have a different thing that gives it 2 more wild symbols. While you're at a location with 4 Shroud, it gains 2, so it'll be 4 wild. While you're engaged with an enemy is the Madman. It gains 2, so it's 4 wild if you're with an enemy. And then while you have 8 cards in hand, your Essence of the Dream gains 2. So it's 4 if you have 8 cards in hand. I think Ursula is the one who can take advantage of all of these the most consistently. Like, with Dream Diary, it's a pretty safe, random roll on Shrewd Analysis because, they all are, you're playing this to get the Unexpected Courage. But, Ursula, she's going to be at locations with 4 Shroud. Ursula doesn't care if she's engaged with an enemy, and she's a Seeker, so she's probably going to have 8 cards in her hand. So, any of these are a hit for her. Sweet. All right, Bryn, now I'm going to pass these ones to you.
Right on. We got Surprising Find, which is a skill that commits for a wild. It's myriad, so we get 3 of them. As a reaction effect, after you search your deck, and Surprising Find is among the searched cards, you put it into play in your play area. You must commit it to the next eligible skill test you perform. If that test is successful, draw 1 card. It's just an efficient card. Mm-hmm. We got Old Book of Lore level 2. This one's real solid for Ursula because it turns out relics cost money. And, yeah. Anyway, the difference between this one and the other one is that it costs 2 instead of 3, and it uses 2 secrets. When we exhaust the Old Book of Lore, you choose an Investigator, search the top 3 for a card, and draw it and shuffle their deck. Then you may spend 1 secret to have that Investigator immediately play the card, reducing its cost by 2. So we can just use this as a much more efficient way to get our relics out of our deck and into play. We've got the Eye of Truth. It's a level 5 skill. It's for 4 wild. It's a spell. It's practiced. If this skill test is on a treachery card and this test is successful, add that treachery to the victory display and attach the Eye of Truth to it. While attached, the Eye of Truth contributes its skill icons to all tests on copies of the attached treachery.
I love this card. It's just so sick.
Yeah. Given that we have 3 brain and 4 foot, there's not that many treachery tests that we can't reasonably expect to pass with +4. Even some of the real hard ones out of the Circle Undone, where you test 6 or 5, you can still probably get there.
Yeah. Sick card. It also can be used to never mind. I'm thinking of something else. All right. Before I get to Travis talk about some of the other Innsmouth cards, so because the curse archetype is kind of just like, here are the cards with curses on them, instead of talking about all those curse cards again, you can check out the archetype guide down below for Seeker Curses Matter. because, we're not going to just talk about, hey, because they kind of like a whole package. You need to like really work things together. Cryptic Grimoire, not so much. It's just kind of here because I grabbed 3 curse cards and whichever one I see first. Some more there. But Travis, why don't you talk about some of the relevant cards that we have here from the Innsmouth Conspiracy for Ursula Downs?
Sure. We got Plan of Action here. This is a practice skill that commits for 1 wild. And if the skill test is during or before the first action of this turn, you get an additional brain foot. If it is the second action, you get to draw a card if it succeeds. And if it is during the third action of the turn, you gains Fist and Book. This one's nice. Just you can commit to anything for 1. You can commit for 2 feet to get away from an enemy, to a brain for some kind of parlay action in some scenarios. For your second action, you can is a little bit awkward with Ursula's ability if you move for your first action, because then the How do you guys think that works?
Well, if you move for your first action, then the skill test is between the first and third, right? You've already taken your first action.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, so you get to draw a card. That's nice, and then it just gives you books for your third action again to bump up that book score. Next up, we got the Truth Backends. This is a 1-cost event that commits for a book or a foot. Play only if you're not engaged with an enemy. You get to move, choose an unrevealed location. You get to move 1 location at a time along the shortest path towards that location until you enter that location. And this effect if you reveal a location if an enemy engages you or if your movement is blocked. So another rule question, can you use this to move to a location that's, for example, 3 spaces away, and then investigate the second location with Ursula's ability before you move to the last one?
That's a great question.
I have no idea.
If you can, that's pretty sweet. And if not, this card's still fine. It just saves you a bunch of actions for 1 resource in a card.
I don't see why you can't, because it wouldn't. What stops your movement is until you enter that location, or you reveal a location, or if an enemy engages you, or if your movement is blocked. So I feel like you can still investigate on the way.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Someone on YouTube might know more. They usually do. You're our
It's a pretty neat way to mitigate Call the Unknown. If you can do it that way, you just pick a location between where you are and where you want to go and hit it up on the way.
That's just like giving a middle finger to whatever curses in the jungle. I love that.
Anyway, next we got this Hyper Awareness level 4. 4 experience put in your deck, obviously. 2 money to play. Commits for 2 book and 2 feet if you can't afford it. Uses 2 resources, and you replenish those resources at the start of each round. You can spend a resource, whether it's from Hyper Awareness or from your own pool, to get +1 book or +1 foot to the skill test. This is good because these are the skills that Ursula uses for things. And have more of them is good. Yep. Next up, we got Ariadne's Twine. This is a 0-cost asset, 3 experience. Commits for 2 books, takes up an arcane slot. Not much competition there. Has uses 0 secrets, and the secrets on Ariadne's Twine can be spent as if they're on any card controlled by Investigator at your location. As a lightning bolt, you can exhaust Ariadne's Twine to move a secret from an asset you control to your resource pool as a resource, or vice versa. So you can exhaust it and move one of your resources onto Ariadne's Twine to spell on anything, or onto one of your other assets if you would like to put your eggs in one basket. It's really nice because some of the high-level and high-impact relics, such as Noptic manuscripts, use secrets. You get some extra use out of them. More bang for your buck.
Heck yeah. All right. I think we are on to Edge of the Earth. So just for everyone who's watching this, because you can watch this literally 4 years from now. We haven't played with these cards yet, so just bear with us as we read through them and maybe make discoveries as we are explaining them to you guys. For first up, we got Jeremiah Kirby. This is a 4-cost ally, Miskatonic Wayfarer. Has 2 damage, 1 horror. You get +1 book. And then after your enters play, choose even or odd. Reveal the top 5 cards of your deck, draw each card with a cost that matches the chosen option, and then shuffle the remaining cards into your deck. This guy, he gives you +1 book, which is sick, gets you to 5, and then he also can get you a bunch of cards. Depending on how you build your deck, and if you know your deck composition, this could potentially just draw you 5 cards, which is kind of really nice. That's pretty good. But even if he doesn't draw you 5, like if he draws you 2, that's still awesome, because he also comes with a book stapled to him too. Next up, we got Pocket Telescope. This is a 2-cost item tool, takes up a hand slot. As a lightning bolt, you can exhaust it to look at the revealed side of a connected unrevealed location. This is also particularly good for Ursula because you're going to be wanting to go into unrevealed locations a lot, and sometimes they're bad, and just the more information you have about what to do with your turn, the more successful your turn is going to be. As an action, you can also investigate a reveal location, connecting location as if you were there. Once again, this works with her reaction ability, which is kind of a little bit dirty. I like that. Leave a location and then grab the last clue on it. Whoa. Whoa, that's weird. All right. Next up, we got Professor William Webb. We have the level 0 and the level 2. He has 1 damage, 2 horror as the level 0, 1 and 3 horror as the level 2. He uses 3 secrets on both of his versions. When you successfully investigate, you can exhaust him as a reaction and spend a secret. Instead of discovering a clue at your location, either choose an item card in your discard pile or add it to your hand, or discover a clue at a connecting location. His upgraded version is when you successfully investigate, exhaust him and spend 1 secret, choose an item card in your discard pile and add it to your hand. Instead of discovering a clue at your location, you may discover a clue at a connecting location. So this guy kind of like works around like, putting things in your discard pile, getting them back, and then also just grabbing additional clues from other places where you might not want to go anymore. Yeah. That's Professor William Webb. Bryn, I'll throw these next ones to you.
We got On the Trail. It's a 1-costed level 1 event. It's an insight and a tactic. We choose an enemy at any location other than ours. We can either move twice towards that enemy, or discover 1 clue at any empty location between you and the chosen enemy along the shortest path to reach that enemy. Then there's the upgraded version that costs 3 XP instead. And we choose an enemy at any location other than yours, and you move twice towards that enemy, discovering 1 clue at each location you entered by this effect. So obviously we can use this to discover a whole pile of clues for a single action. Ideally, we don't end up engaged to the enemy, but if we do, we got 4 foot.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We got a Yawn Chart. It's a 2-costed level 1 item relic that takes up the accessory slot, uses 3 secrets. As a lightning bolt during your turn, exhaust Eon Chart and spend 1 secret. Choose and take 1 of the following actions: move, evade, or investigate. Or in our case, we get to do 2 of them, because we can move and investigate for the lightning bolt. And then the upgraded one, which is level 4 instead. And as a lightning bolt during your turn, exhaust Eon Chart and spend 1 secret. Choose and take 2 of the following actions in any order: move, evade, or investigate. So now we can move, investigate with our own ability, and then investigate with the Eon Chart as well. And the entire time, we've spent 0 actions.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Travis.
The Janae Beauregard. She's a 5-cost ally. 3 experience put in your deck, commits for a book or a foot. She just gives you a book and a foot. That's pretty good. Those are the stats you want. And, 5 is bigger than 4. It's good. She can take 2 hard damage and 2 brain damage. And as a reaction during your turn, after you move to a location, you can exhaust her to move a clue or a non-elite enemy from a connecting location to your location, or vice versa. So this is kind of handy where you can shuffle enemies away, so that way you don't have to deal with them before you pick up a clue. She's kind of like, what's his face, Jake Williams, but
Good.
Yeah. And then, or you can shunt a clue over to the location that you're at, so that way you can get use out of your ability. Pretty solid ally, I think.
I like the idea of just moving from a 6-shroud location to a 2-shroud location, bringing the clue from it and just being like, oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even just using her to shuffle clues off of victory locations onto ones that do not have victory.
Yep.
She's also she's referenced in the flavor text of Fieldwork.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Yeah, fancy.
I think Bryn's gonna play her a lot. And I think I'm gonna play her a lot too. She seems really nice.
She does seem cool. Next up, we got the Prophecy Profana. This is one of them relics. 5 experience, commits for 2 wild, 4 to play, and takes up 1 hand slot. It's also an item in the tome. While you are not at the locus, you get +1 book, +1 foot, and you may ignore attacks opportunity. Wow, those are all things Ursula wants. And as a reaction, after it enters play, you get to choose a revealed location. That location is the locus until it leaves play, the tome. And as an action, you can move any investigator to the locus. Really just a really good card.
Man, Ursula's really reaping the Monterey Jack benefits, but they're basically the same character, huh?
They're not entirely different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got this protecting the Amerik or something like that. I can barely read that word.
Protecting the taco.
Yeah. It's a 1-cost event, 2 experience, commits for a book and a foot. Fast play after an ally asset at your location is discarded by a card effect or is defeated. Either return that asset to its owner's hand or its owner draws 3 cards. Some of your allies are going to be pretty key in Ursula, like Genet. You know, if you want them, you just want them for the entire game. This is a nice way to ensure you don't have to try and find another copy of them.
Yep.
Should the unthinkable happen. Now we got an upgraded version of Unearth the Ancients.
Yep.
The difference here is it's 2 experience instead of 0. 0 resources to play, commits for 2 books and a foot. You have to investigate, choose up to 2 secret assets in your hand, and the difficulty of the skill test is equal to the combined cost of chosen assets. If you succeed, you get to put them both into play one at a time, and for each relic asset put into play by this ability, you get to draw a card. This one's like slightly more flexible. Ursula might struggle a little bit with her base 4 book getting up high enough to put them both into play. Beat that big test, but if you do, it's a huge amount of money you've just saved.
It also doesn't replace the clue, so you also get the clue as well.
Oh yeah! Wow, that's actually good.
Yeah, it's a big glow up. It did a pretty, like, if we did a glow up video again, this one would probably be like, we'd be like, good job.
Yeah.
This protecting the Anorak or whatever. You can use this with Dr. Ellie to have her find consumable relics, like ones with limited uses. Then once you've used it, get her killed and put her back in your hand.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
So then she can go and find a new relic for you.
And then she's just rolling and she's like, please, please, please.
Yeah.
Oh, for the love of God.
I hope this one's good.
Yep. All right, we got Survey the Area. This is a practice and expert skill. While it is in your hand or commit to a skill test, it gains book icons equal to your foot and foot icons equal to your book. So this is basically 4 book and 4 foot without any other additional attachments.
Suck it, perception.
Yeah. I mean, seems good because, like, those are the stats that you're going to be using all the time. And, like, especially, like, just a panic button to get to 8 foot, sometimes 9, is good. That's just a nice thing to have, right? Definitely not a priority, but, like, I think it works really well in Ursula. Next up, we got Hiking Boots. 2 cost, 1 experience. Limit 1 footwear per investigator. You get +1 foot. As a reaction after the last clue is discovered from your location, exhaust it. Move to a connecting location with at least 1 clue or to a connecting unrevealed location. This is nice because, like, you know, you just kind of like, you want to move. That's what she does. And then you can also grab a clue. You can investigate and then get a free move out of it and then use that free move to get a free investigate. Doesn't that seem kind of nice? Red Claw.
It's a lot of free stuff.
It is. I mean, free stuff's always good. It's like how we say, like, winning is better than losing. Passing is better than not passing. Free stuff is better than stuff you have to pay for. That's how it works. All right, these red clocks. There's a level 2 and a level 5. Exceptional. They're both exceptional. They both use 0 charges. Forced. After turn begins, either place 1 charge here or take all charges here as resources. Then if it has exactly 1 charge, you get +3 skill value for the next test. 2 charges, you may move up to 2 times. 3 charges, you may take an additional action this turn. The level 5 one is plus 4 value for 1 charge. Move 3 for 2 charges, or take 2 additional actions for 3 charges. She actually cannot run the upgraded one, so just imagine that there's a big X there. I'm covering it with my hand, and I highly suggest everyone at home do the exact same thing. The nice thing about these ones is that, like, I mean, eventually you'll need to use it if you get the 3, but then you just get an additional action. But the moving up to 2 times is really nice, and like plus 3 skill value for next skill test. You'll know when you need to ring the clock then, and that can be the time to do it. All right. Bryn, why don't you finish off Edge of the Earth?
All right, we got Antiquary, which is a level 3, 3-costed talent asset. Uses 2 resources. Replenish these resources at the start of each round. Resources on Antiquary can be spent to pay for favor, relic, or ritual cards. Now, favors and rituals,
Bryn, did you say relic?
Yeah. As a lightning bolt, you can also spend the resources to pay to get the +1 skill value during a skill test on a favor, relic, or ritual card. That part is so much less important than just being able to pay for your relics like all the time.
Yeah.
We also have Crafty here, which is another level 3, 3-cost talent asset. Same as the first, except for we can use them to pay for insights, tools, or trick cards. Insights and tools we have in abundance in yellow. And as a lightning bolt, again, you can spend the resources to get +1 skill value on a test involving one of those cards. Just some reasonable economy options. If what you are trying, I think I like the relic one better. Is it better? Who knows? But if you're playing one of the relic heavy builds, 3-costed cards start to add up real fast.
Yeah. Yeah, and these things pay themselves back pretty quick.
They do.
Yeah. All right, Travis. Well, I'll give you this one for returning to the return to boxes.
Cool. We got Foster Sketches level 2 here. This one's 0 to play, commits for brain and book. You play only if there's a clue in your location. You get to draw 3 cards. It's just a nice way to help dig through your deck to find your powerful relics. Card draw is pretty solid, especially if you're leaning into skills and events to help supplement Ursula's 4 book. Yeah, Logical Reasoning level 4. This is 2 to play still, commits for 3 brains, and for each clue you have to a maximum of 3, you either get to heal 2 horror from investigate your location or discard tarot card at your location. This one's nice because of that 3 brain score, bumps up to 6 for the tests that require it, and otherwise it's a fantastic support card for your teammates, where you can, especially for your monster hunters, you can heal up their typically low brain if they're struggling with that, or get rid of something like Frozen if you're stuck on your team's rogue or whatever. It's a fairly flexible card, a little pricey experience-wise, but not bad.
Yeah.
Got Upgraded Truth from Fiction. This one is 2 experience to add to your deck, and is 1 resource instead of 2, commits for 3 books, and you just get to put 2 secrets among assets controlled by investigators at your location, or 3 secrets if there's a clue at your location. So a very solid upgrade, and if you're playing the relics that require secrets, it's probably a card that you want. Next up, we have an Upgrade Chthonian Stone. This one is level 3. 2 money to play instead of 3. Commits for a brain and a book. Still takes up your 1 hand slot, and still lets you seal one of the non-auto-fail symbol tokens. The difference is this one has 3 charges, and if it has no charges, you return it to your hand. Forced after you reveal an auto-fail during a skill test, you remove 1 charge from the Chthonian Stone. So, like, you just don't have to replay it immediately.
Yeah, this one, and also, like,
really good.
Yeah, this one's also, like, pretty hard. Like, realistically, you shouldn't be drawing 3 auto-fails. Like, it can happen, and you'll, like... I mean, we have living proof in this Discord call right now. But, like, this one's probably going to stay in play, more likely than not.
Yeah, even if you slam this on turn 1, like, you're probably not going to pick it up through a scenario.
Yeah. And if you do, you'll probably at that time have 2 resources sitting around, and if you really need to back out, super easy to do. I'm going to play with this card. I like it. All right. We got upgraded backpack level 2. This one's just better. You now search 12 cards as opposed to 6. And we'll talk about it more in the Staples video, which you can find down in the description. We got upgraded occult lexicon. It's a 3. Oh my god, this freaking picture, man. 2 cost, 3 experience, comes for 2 books, limit 1 per deck. When you play a copy of Bloodright, either change each 2 on it to a 3 or shuffle it into your deck instead of discarding it. And after end of play, you search your bonded cards to 3 copies of Bloodright, add 1 to your hand, and shuffle the other 2 to your deck. Bloodright is a 0-cost event. It has draw 2 cards, discard up to 2 cards from your hand. For each card thusly discarded, you may either gain 1 resource or spend 1 resource to deal 1 damage to an enemy at your location. This attack does not provoke attacks of opportunity, so this is a good way to get resources if you need them, or defeat enemies, all while also drawing cards. And you also don't even need to discard the cards. If you just want to draw 2 cards, you can, but the other sides of this are really neat, because you probably do have cards that you want to get rid of at the cost of an enemy you're engaged with. It's usually worth it. Okay, Bryn. Investigator decks. I'll pass this one to you.
All right, we got Burning the Midnight Oil. This is 0-cost event. Investigate. When this action begins, gain 2 resources. This is like emergency cash, but like way better, because it doesn't actually cost us an action to play. Sure, we get 1 less resource, but a resource is worth an action easily.
Yep.
We got Witten Green. She is a 4-costed ally. Miskatonic. While you control a tome or a relic asset, you get +1 book. As a reaction effect, after you reveal a location or put a new location into play, exhaust Witten Green. Search the top 6 cards of your deck for a tome or relic asset and draw it. Shuffle your deck. The upgraded version is much the same, except she can soak an additional horror, and while you control a tome or a relic asset, you get +1 brain as well. You also get to search the top 9 cards of your deck for a tome or a relic asset, which very rapidly, like how many times do you need to trigger that before you've found every good relic in your deck?
Yeah, all 3 copies of Segment of Onyx. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah.
She is a little soft early in the game, where unlike Dr. Malone Christopher, if you don't have a tome or a relic, she doesn't think you're interesting and she's not going to talk to you.
Yeah.
But otherwise quite good.
I do like the idea that she's just hanging around you, and then when she sees the tome, she's like, "Oh my god, you have that? Well, let me help you now," as opposed to just standing next to you while I go crazy.
Yeah. We got the Esoteric Atlas here. This is a different version. It costs 2 XP instead of 1, and we get the same 3 to play, 4 secrets. As an action, we can spend a secret. Unlike the other one, we get to move up to 3 connections away from our location.
Sick.
As opposed to exactly 2.
Sweet. Travis, throw these ones to you.
Level 2, I've got a plan. 2 money to play instead of 3, commits for 2 books and a fist. You get to fight, uses book instead of fist, and you get +2 book for this test. You deal +1 damage for this attack for each clue you have to a maximum of +3 damage, which would be a total of 4. It's a pretty hefty amount of damage. It's just a way for Ursula to deal with monsters if that's something that you need, you know. We've got upgrade Mind Over Matter. This is also level 2. 1 to play, commits for a fist, book, and wild. It's fast. You play during your turn. Until the end of the round, you add your book to your fist and your foot, and you get to draw a card to replace it, which is very nice. So you get to roll around with like 8 foot and 5 punch for a turn, which isn't always great for Ursula, but there are a couple campaigns, especially, for example, the Return to the Forgotten Age, where you got those sand traps.
Yeah.
And you can not just dig yourself out, but like potentially dig out 2 other people in 1 round. It's pretty helpful for that kind of stuff. We got Seeking Answers level 2. 1 resource to play, commits from book to feet. Investigate. It's that keyword again. If you succeed, you discover 2 total clues from among your location and connecting locations. So you can move to a location that's like easy to investigate. You know, use your ability and just scoop 2 clues off of a high shroud location next to you or something like that. And then we got level 2 Perception. Commits for 3 books, and if you succeed by 2 or more, you get to draw 2 cards. It's just more perception.
More perception. All right, last 2 ones we got here is we got the Necronomicon, the Petrus de Dacia translation. It's a 3-cost, 5 experience asset. Takes up a hand slot and commits for 5 books. Just 5. Has 6 secrets,
stalls.
limit 1 per deck. As a lightning bolt, you can spend a secret to get +2 skill die for the skill test. If you spend a lightning bolt, spend 2 to draw 2 cards. Spend 3 to discover a clue at any location. Spend 4, deal 3 damage to an enemy engaged with you. Cards bonkers. There's some broken things you could do with it if you're not playing with a taboo list. And I think it's just should not have been printed as it was. Cards wild.
No, this one's here, like, it's not a relic, which most of the high experience things that Ursula wants are. But a lot of the cards that support relics also support secrets and tomes. There's a lot of overlap there, and this is just like the best thing you can be doing with that.
Yeah. Last card here, and the last card we're talking about Ursula is Grotesque Statue, 3 cost, 2 experience. 3 charges. If it has no charges, discard it. When you would reveal a chaos token, spend a charge, reveal 2 instead of 1. Choose one of those tokens to ignore and resolve the other. Yeah, just a stepping stone. If you wanted to get to Grotesque Statue, you could do this. If you wanted to just get halfway there. It's 4 charges on the other one, right? And it costs 1 more? No, it costs 1. This one costs 1 more, and then the 4 charges then cost 1 less.
Yeah, I believe so.
2 cost, yeah. So yeah, it's a stepping stone if you wanted to get there. I do think still Grotesque Statue is a very strong card that we don't play as much because that's just because like it's not flashy. It's just like good.
Yeah.
But yeah, good card, and you won't be upset about playing this guy.
Nope.
All right, Travis. Final deck list. Oh, actually, this not the final deck list, just an example deck list. I'll pass this one to you, and you can talk about this one.
As always, this is like a very basic Ursula deck. You can, if you want to play some like the untranslated assets and stuff in her, feel free to. This can go a lot of different ways. We just have some assets to help us investigate better, and the flashlight and the magnifying glass. Field work, as we talked about, is like one of Ursula's kind of signature cards that also helps with that. Jeremiah Kirby from the newest expansion made into this list. I think he is quite strong. He also looks at cards, which is going to be important for this list as you're playing Astounding Revelation for some of your economy. The Astounding Revelations also work into the late game, where if you want to purchase some of the secret-using relics. Dr. Ellie, of course, is always here. She also looks at cards to trigger this Astounding Revelation. We got Tooth of Esli as, I think, the only relic just like in the base list here. That's because like all the good ones cost experience.
Yeah.
So, and then we got Burn the Midnight Oil, Crack the Case for our money concerns. Shortcut, just a great card. Deduction, Eureka, Gust Perception, all solid skills. You get your clues, and then once you have experience, you buy good relics. That is easily the first thing that I would upgrade in this deck, is like a good relic, at least one, ideally more.
Mm-hmm.
You just move and investigate. That's what you do.
Yeah, just move, investigate, have a good time doing it.
Yep.
Well, that was our expanded guide for Ursula Downs. We don't know who yet, but it's going to be a rogue investigator coming up next for this series. I just want to say thank you for watching, and a huge thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the channel. We appreciate it, and we appreciate all of you. What do you guys think of Ursula, everyone watching? Let us know in the comments below, and if anyone has the question to that, the truth beckons, I would love to know the actual answer, because it also can work for On the Trail too, if that is the case, which would be pretty sweet. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give us a like, a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed already. And if you are subscribed, consider, hitting that bell to be notified when one of our videos go live. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. And as always, GG's.